getting a good show. Drivers will get an up-close look as they go throughout these 500 miles at their competition, and you can ride along with them. Austin Dillon with our Sunoco on board tonight. Kevin Harvick carrying our Jimmy Johns on board. Casey Kane, you just heard from, carrying the Sprint onboard camera. Clint Boyer's got our 5-hour energy camera. Jeff Gordon has the Chevy on board. There's Kyle Larson with the Goodyear on board. Jimmy Johnson with our Sprint onboard camera. Finally, Dale Earnhardt Jr. has the Diet Dew on board tonight here at a place where he's won before and run very well. To pit road and Jamie Little.
Well, Alan, to say that Tony Stewart's return to the racetrack has been an emotional one would be an understatement. From the time he first stepped back in the garage on Friday morning for the first practice, he was welcomed with open arms from his fellow competitors, friends, and fans. And I just talked to his crew chief, Chad Johnston, who's up on the pit box right now, and he told me his approach for this weekend with Tony and the whole team is to do what they've been doing all year long. Focus on the task at hand, and that is winning the race. And he said so far it has worked. Between Tony and the car they brought here, he feels this is the best opportunity they've had to win a race all year long. And as you can imagine, a win for Tony would be a bright spot in what's been a dark 3 weeks. Alan?
All right, Jamie, thanks. And this is probably a moment that Tony's been ready for all weekend, is just to get this race started.
I think he's been ready for it, certainly. The weekend has been good for him. You can see the change in him. But this is a different situation. He's right now trying to control the emotions so that he can get focused on the task at hand.
Yeah, I think he's got a good car. We heard Jamie talking about it. He felt good about the car, that they may have a good chance in him. With Kevin Harvick in this stable, I think that he's brought a lot of that, what he's learned about Atlanta to this team, and maybe this will be a good chance for him tonight.
So Tony's certainly one of the focus areas of the night, and the other, those drivers trying to find a way to grab a place in the chase. Let's check with Jim Noble.
You know, Alan, only one rookie has ever made it to the chase for the Sprint Cup. That was Denny Hamlin 8 years ago. Kyle Larson can do it tonight. All he has to do is win, and he's in. But the rookie also has to remember that he's 26 points out of an at-large chase berth. He'll attack if he thinks he can win tonight, but Kyle Larson has to remember this. He needs to still be in this conversation when we get to Richmond next week. Dave Burns?
Jim, Greg Biffle has had 9 top 10 finishes this season, but the wins have not come, and Greg is the edge of chase eligibility. Crew Chief Matt Pusha told me he would be willing to risk tonight, not just for that chase-making win, but also to get further north of the points cutoff line. Vince Welch.
Jamie McMurray has never made the chase. If he's going to do it this year, he's got to deliver big in these next 2 weeks. 60 points out of the chase. They desperately need a victory. They led 148 laps last week at Bristol. They've been rock solid this weekend here at Atlanta. As Crew Chief Keith Rodden told me just a moment ago, we're confident, but they definitely have to win the race if they're having to pull off that upset tonight and secure one of those chase spots, Alan. Boy, how big it would be for this Ganassi team.
Absolutely, and McMurray with a couple of NASCAR Nationwide Series wins here in Atlanta. He knows how to get it done at this racetrack. Our Oral-B track backs, the Speedway measures 1.54 miles around, so it doesn't quite come out to an even 500 miles. 500 and a half, don't forget the half when figuring your mileage, and 325 laps to get that done. So half a lap from the start tonight.
All right, man, nice and smooth all day long. Take care of our stuff, have something from at the end. You know how this place is. Take it easy on it at first and go get it one at a time once it gets strung out. Guys, nice and smooth on pit road. Just like you always do. Have a good day, man.
Guys, be careful. Be safe down there. Appreciate everything.
Tony Stewart starting in 12th position. Sunset in a little while. Drivers will race into that setting sun for the opening laps of this race. Visibility always tricky in the opening moments in Atlanta. We'll see if the cloud cover helps them just a little bit. 325 laps, 500 and a half miles. Kevin Harvick, Brad KESELOWSKI lead him to the green. putting on a show in the opening lap.
I can't believe that. I mean, that turn 1 and 2 was just unreal. Look at it.
They didn't think he would come in the race. Made a bad mistake in thinking otherwise. Look at this.
Good Lord, I tell that car's like shot out of a rocket.
Up to 7. Started 12th.
And usually the high line is something that you'll hold on to for later in a run. After you run 6, 8 laps, maybe, then start making your way up. Tony went right there and made up a lot of spots.
Now, part of that worked for Stewart was set up by the guy in first place in the outside row not being able to get going on the start. That's Brad KESELOWSKI in that too.
It's just so hard. It's almost impossible that the driver that's starting on the outside of the front row cannot get going. You try to make it happen. You try to be easy with the throttle. You try to go hard to anticipate. You just cannot make it happen, and it jams everything up from behind.
Watch the yellow 2 there.
Yeah, and you can see right here that he's trying to get eased up there a little bit where he's not getting it all at once. But then as he tries to lay the throttle to it.
And they all know it. All the drivers know that that's a challenge. They're planning for it. And still, there's nothing you can do.
Brad trying to make up a spot. 43, Aric Almirola. Running in 5th place. KESELOWSKI trying to get by him. Stewart closing in from the back. When you walk around the garage area race day, as is sort of custom, and you ask crew chiefs who have all the data on the lap times and speeds of people to keep an eye on, they all mention Kevin Harvick, but a lot of them mention Jeff Gordon and Brad KESELOWSKI as a few to keep an eye on. Here's Tony Stewart picking up another spot around Almirola for 6th.
And there was one other name that I heard, a driver that led here last year until had some engine problem. That was Clint Boyer.